Now Interstellar Object 3I Atlas has a heartbeat. Sounds strange, guys. It is strange. This interstellar object / comet / whatever it is, spaceship, keeps us busy wondering what it is doing and why it is doing like this. So today, let's talk about something strange that has been newly discovered with this interstellar object 3I Atlas. And I will explain what it is. A heartbeat, guys. It's a mysterious blinking pattern that 3I Atlas shows. And we have no pictures of 3I Atlas. And what you can see, there's multiple new images. And what we see on all these images is still the clear tail, anti-tail that goes in opposite directions, the anti-tail towards the sun. And we see multiple jets that are still unexplained. So when scientists looked at 3I Atlas, the light coming from it is pulsing. It got brighter, then dimmer, then brighter again. So they were wondering, what is this? Because it happened every 16.16 hours. And we know the object rotates around its own axis every 16 hours. So it looks like a heartbeat. But does that come from the rotating? And not so easy, guys. Because at first, people thought, okay, it's turning like a potato-shaped comet. When it spins, we see more or less sunlight, so the brightness changes. But the new analysis says, nope, that explanation does not work. Because most of the light is not from the object, not from 3I Atlas itself. We have this Hubble photo that was taken on July 21st, 2025, when they first discovered it. And it shows something very important. Most of the light does not come from the solid body, the rock, the ice ball, whatever it is. Instead, it comes from a glowing cloud around the object that is called a coma. So think of this like this. You see a flashlight in fog. The fog is glowing. The tiny light bulb inside the flashlight is hard to see. And most of the brightness is from the fog that is around the flashlight. That is 3I Atlas. The solid core is tiny, but the glowing cloud is huge. So the bright, dim pattern, the heartbeat that we see, it cannot come from the core spinning. Cannot come from the spinning that it does every 16 hours because it's too big. The core contributes only less than 1% of the total light. The glow dominates everything. And the core is much smaller than people assumed. So if all the light came from the solid object, it would need to be at a radius of 10 kilometers in visible light, roughly 7 miles, and 23 kilometers in infrared light, roughly 19 miles. But that's wrong, because the glow is what's bright, not the core. The core is only probably 2 to 3 kilometers in radius, something between 1.7 and 2.4 miles. That means the core is far too small to change the total brightness by tens of percents just by spinning. So we cannot blame the spinning for the heartbeat of 3I Atlas. So what is it then, right? What causes these bright pulses? Jets. We've talked about the jets before. This is the key point. 3I Atlas has jets. We see it in multiple images. In some images, we see as many as 7 or 8 jets. Streams of gas and dust shooting out of it, out of 3I Atlas. So if these jets turn on and off in a rhythm, the whole glowing cloud becomes brighter and then dimmer. So this can easily cause a heartbeat-like pattern. But how can it do that? Well, imagine you have a garden sprinkler and you're turning it on every 16 hours, the cloud around it expands and shines more, then it slows down and then it expands again. That matches exactly what we see. But how can natural jets pulse? We're still assuming that this is natural. Despite, if you've seen one of my last videos where I explain the 13 anomalies and especially the 13th, that it changed its direction in perihelion towards Jupiter, that blows your mind. But this video, let's focus on the jets. So how could natural jets pulse, guys? If the object is a comet, here's the simple picture. It has a big patch of ice on one side. Let's imagine that. And when that side faces the sun, the ice heats up and suddenly explodes outward as gas and dust, like a puff of steam. Then the object turns. The ice moves into the shadow, the puff stops. And next time the same side faces the sun, it puffs again. This would create a heartbeat every 16 hours. Over one full cycle, the gas could travel 25,600 kilometers, 20,000 miles outwards. That's huge. And I know some of the questions that arise, well, why would the comet only have ice on one side? Well, that's not literally the case. It doesn't only have ice on one side, but the ice might be exposed only on one side, and that makes all the difference. Think of it like this. A comet is a dirty snowball, but over millions of years, the sun cooks the surface. The top layers get baked, dark, and dusty. And this crust hides the ice underneath. But when the comet gets close to the sun, most of the surface does nothing because the thick dust covers the ice. But in one area, let it be a crack, a pit, or a broken patch, lets fresh ice reach the surface. And then only that exposed patch reacts to the sunlight. That side becomes the active side. So if the comet does have a specific exposed ice patch, then when that side faces the sun, it erupts, so to speak, it puffs. And when it faces away, it stops. And this could create the 16-hour heartbeat effect. And real comets usually do not erupt everywhere. They erupt only from like pits, fractures, cracks, cliffs, weak spots in the crust. So even comets do have ice everywhere deep inside. Only a few spaces are open to sunlight. Like a pressure cooker with just one open valve, like a broken valve. Only that valve releases steam. But what if 3I Atlas is not a natural object? If the object is technological, it's not a comet, then the jets wouldn't need to point towards the sun at all, wouldn't they, right? They could point in any direction. So if scientists would make, and hopefully they will soon, a time-lapse movie and see the jets brighten in a direction that is not related to the sun, that would be a major sign. Because how can they brighten if the sun doesn't shine on the ice? Natural jets always point in a sun-facing pattern. Artificial jets could point anywhere. But this test has not been done yet. It's time that they do this. So the key message from this new analysis is the strange 16.16 hour heartbeat is not caused by the shape or spin of the solid core. It comes from the jets. Long, narrow streams of material shooting out far into space. The core is too small to cause the brightness of that scale and that brightness change. So the surrounding glow is too big and too dominant. So the heartbeat basically tells us about the jets, but not about the object. So what does that mean, guys? We have this interstellar object that's coming from outside our solar system. So it's alien for sure, whatever it is, a piece of rock, space junk, spaceship, whatever it is. And it shows a heartbeat pattern, powerful jets, huge glowing cloud and behavior that does not match normal comets. That we definitely know. So something is driving these pulses and we still do not know what. Natural or technological. The answer is somewhere in these jets. And add that to the 13 anomalies that we have found about Interstellar Object 3I Atlas. Let me know how big your question mark is. So look up these two videos in the end screen because they're like what blew my mind when I heard it. Thanks for watching. Please like and hype this video. I hope to see you again if you subscribe, hopefully. If you want to support the channel, become a member, click the join button or click the link in the description of this video. Thank you so much, guys. It stays mysterious. See you here in a second.